Starting as usual by settling our bodies. Making sure our back is straight and our knees are just below the hips. We're sitting on the edge of our cushion. Our elbows are a little bit away from the body. Neck tilted downwards, about 45-degree angle. Our gaze is about 2 meters on the floor in front of us. And eyes can be either cracked open to let some light in, or you can leave them closed. And finally, the tongue is resting on the upper palate, just behind that top row of teeth. And most importantly, try to put a little smile on your face and allow all those facial muscles that hold so much tension between the eyebrows and the jaw and the cheeks to just release that tension. Relax the shoulders also. Relax the muscles around the spine while straightening the spine a little bit more. Settle your body into this posture. Now we move into a few minutes of Shamatha practice, calm abiding, stabilize our mind. We watch the breath either at the rise and fall of our abdomen or the sensations that we observe at the very tip of our nose. Allowing all other thoughts and distractions to naturally fall away just by nature of resting our attention single-pointedly in one place. For the next few minutes, allow your mind to settle down as you watch the breath. And at the same time, generate a brief motivation for yourself. Why you're here today. Now, keeping about 10% of our attention on our breath as an anchor, we shift our attention to our equanimity practice. So first we bring to mind, in the space in front of us, somebody whom we call a friend. And when you've brought this friend in front of you, think about all the ways that make them a friend. Why do I call them a friend? Maybe they've helped me in some way. Maybe I like certain qualities about them. And also notice how this friend is also probably disliked by some other people for other reasons. They're probably liked by some the way I like them and disliked by others. So this friend category is really coming from my own mind. Otherwise, they'd be universally loved. And also contemplate, is this person going to be a friend forever to me? Or is there a possibility in a few years, maybe they do something to me, or they do something I don't like, and suddenly they're not a friend anymore, or they're even an enemy? Notice the impermanence of this label I've given. Now let this person dissolve and bring to that space somebody who's a stranger, whom you don't know at all and you have very neutral feelings towards. And notice your indifference arise to this person, not really caring, at least as much as the friend, what happens to them in their life, how their day is. Notice what that indifference is like. Now also notice that this person is probably loved by many people in the way that I love my friend, and probably disliked by many other people. But it's just to me that they're a stranger and I feel neutral towards them. Probably because they haven't helped me or benefited me in any real substantial way, like my so called friend did. So notice how this feeling and this label of stranger also is just coming from my own mind, from how I feel. Notice also how this label of stranger can so quickly change overnight. If one day they do something, even a small thing, to help us, suddenly they've become the nicest person in the world. Suddenly we may be asking about how they are, how their life is, how their day is going. Just because they've now benefited me in some way. That label has shifted now. So notice the impermanence can also very quickly shift to enemy. And now letting this person also dissolve and bringing to mind somebody whom we consider an enemy or a ill wisher towards us. And make a list of all the reasons that we don't like this person. Trying to not go into stories or the past, but just a very brief list. Why do I feel so averse to this person? Notice how most, if not all, of those reasons probably tie back to how I feel, how they've treated me. Notice also that many others may consider this person a dear friend. Well, my perspective is just one side of things. Notice again the impermanence of this label, enemy. One day, if they decide to help us out or are kind to us, that maybe our attitude towards them will suddenly change. Even in the course of one day, our attitudes might be constantly changing towards this person. Fluctuating between attachment and aversion, indifference, even. And finally, moving this enemy a little bit to the right and bringing back the stranger in the middle and the friend on the left. Observe these three people in front of you that just 20 minutes ago you may have had labels for and strong feelings one way or another, now seem to be quite impermanent. My friend could be an enemy one day. My enemy could become a friend another day. The stranger could be either. All depending on how they treat me, how I feel. Even going beyond this life to all lives, past lives, future lives, where this enemy was probably a very dear friend at some point. And this dear friend was probably a very hated enemy to me. So why should I treat one with love and kindness and the other with malice? And as these labels dissolve away, also noticing that there is one similarity between this friend, stranger, and enemy. And that is that all three of them, just like myself, have a wish to be free of suffering and to be happy. So if that's all the difference between them, why should I treat them any differently? I should love each and every being that I put into one of these three categories. Allowing your heart to open up as you visualize all beings that we put these labels on, or we feel attachment or aversion or indifference to every day, constantly fluctuating up and down, up and down. And seeing that each being simply wishes to be happy. Allowing yourself to feel kindness towards each being equally. And briefly dedicating that may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all these beings, not just my own enlightenment and happiness and the happiness of those around me, but every being, animal, human, wishing all of them well.